The vessel had led the Odyssey crew into its deepest chamber yet, a vast dome-like space that glowed with an ethereal light. Holographic stars floated around them, and a central projection displayed a swirling mass of energy unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Lena Carr stepped forward, her voice calm yet filled with awe. This is different, she said softly. It's not just history or knowledge anymore. It's a message. Something the vessel wants to show us. Captain Rian Torres studied the swirling energy, his brows furrowed. Could it be a weapon? Or a threat? Lena shook her head. No. I think it's a warning. Something this civilization faced. Something they could not stop. And it wants us to know. Before it's too late. The vessel responded to Lena's voice immediately. Streams of light extended from the central projection, forming patterns that resembled a map, but one filled with dangers and anomalies. The ship displayed simulations of star systems being consumed by an invisible force, planets crumbling, suns dimming, civilizations disappearing. The Void Swarm, Lena whispered, reading the symbols that the vessel had arranged into a coherent message. It's called the Void Swarm, a force that consumes life and energy. It moves through galaxies, leaving nothing behind. It destroyed the civilization that built this vessel. Omar Diaz took a step back, swallowing hard. You're telling me this ancient ship survived, just to warn us about a threat that could reach us? Yes, Lena replied. And it believes humans can face it. That's why it responds to our voices. Only humans possess the combination of creativity, compassion, and adaptability needed to survive the coming challenge. Kira Matsuo studied the projections. So, this vessel isn't just a relic. It's a guardian, a teacher, and now, a messenger. It preserved knowledge and waited for someone capable of understanding it. Rian clenched his fists. And it chose us, humans, to carry that knowledge forward. That's a huge responsibility. The vessel then projected a series of star maps with glowing paths, showing strategic points across the galaxy. Some systems were rich with energy sources, others held ancient technologies or civilizations that could help humanity prepare. Lena realized the message was not only a warning, but a plan, a way to unite scattered civilizations and create a defense against the Void Swarm. It's giving us a path, she said, a strategy. If we follow these routes, we can warn other worlds, share knowledge, and build defenses. This isn't just about surviving. It's about preventing the Void Swarm from consuming everything. Omar's voice was tense. And the ship expects humans to do all of this? We're not the only species in the galaxy. Why us? Lena's eyes softened as she looked at him. Because we can think creatively, adapt, and make choices based on morality. The vessel is testing not just our intelligence, but our hearts. That's something no machine or any other species it has encountered could do as reliably. Ryan stepped forward, studying the maps. Then we prepare. We understand the knowledge it gives us, we learn from it, and we follow the path it shows. Humanity has a role, a purpose beyond exploration, beyond survival. We are being asked to protect life itself. The vessel responded again, projecting simulations of training scenarios. Each scenario reflected a cosmic threat, challenges that combined strategy, courage, and cooperation. Lena realized that these simulations were the final tests, the culmination of all the lessons the vessel had been teaching. This is it, she said. The vessel is preparing us for real action. It's showing us what we need to face. And it's giving us a chance to succeed where others failed. The first simulation was immediate, a star system under attack by a force resembling the Void Swarm. Glowing tendrils of energy moved across planets, devouring energy, destabilizing atmospheres and threatening entire civilizations. The crew watched horrified as entire worlds flickered out of existence. This is what happened to the civilization that built the vessel, Omar said quietly. They failed. The Void Swarm destroyed them. Yes, Lena agreed. And the vessel survived, waiting for humans to act differently. We can't fail. The vessel then displayed potential solutions. Fleets of ships, energy shields around planets, communication networks linking civilizations, and strategies to predict the swarm's movement. It was clear that the vessel had preserved every tool the ancient species had used, and it now offered them to humanity. Kira's voice trembled slightly as she spoke. It's giving us everything, all the knowledge we could need. But it's up to us to use it wisely, to act with intelligence and care. Ryan nodded. Then we train, we learn. We understand every tool, every strategy, every system the vessel provides. Humanity must be ready. Lena realized the next challenge was not just about learning, it was about commitment. The vessel projected a series of holographic questions, each one testing intention, morality, and courage. It asked who would take responsibility for the lives of others, how decisions would be made under pressure, and what humanity would sacrifice to protect the galaxy. She spoke aloud, her voice clear and steady. We are willing, we will act wisely, we will protect life. Humanity will rise to this challenge. The vessel pulsed brightly, as if approving her words. The air in the chamber seemed to hum, resonating with the crew's determination. They felt connected not just to the ship, but to a destiny that spanned the galaxy. Suddenly, the central projection shifted, displaying a distant world under threat. A fleet of ships approached, moving in formation to defend the planet, yet they faltered against the relentless advance of the void swarm. Lena recognized a pattern. The simulation wasn't just teaching, it was showing them what could happen if humanity delayed, if they failed to unite others in time. This is the test, Lena said quietly. It's showing us potential failure, so we can learn to prevent it. The vessel is preparing us to act, to lead, to make the right decisions when the stakes are unimaginably high. Ryan's jaw tightened. Then we cannot fail. We will not fail. The galaxy depends on us. And this vessel, it believes in us. The vessel responded one last time in that chamber, projecting a path of light across multiple galaxies. Lines connected worlds, fleets, and energy nodes. Symbols appeared, forming messages Lena could interpret. Humanity can unite, protect, and preserve. Only you can do what we could not. Omar swallowed hard. So, it's giving us the tools, the knowledge, and even the strategy. But it's trusting us to make the right choices. Yes, Lena said. And it expects humans to rise above fear, hesitation, and doubt. That's why it responded to our voices. It knows our intent. It knows our capacity to act wisely and with courage. The crew spent hours studying the vessel's projections, learning strategies, and absorbing knowledge. They understood that this was more than a mission. It was a responsibility, a calling. Humanity was no longer just one species among many. They were chosen to be protectors, leaders, and unifiers. Ryan finally spoke, his voice firm. We have a path, we have the tools, and now we have a choice, to act, to prepare, and to lead. This is humanity's moment. Lena placed her hand on a glowing console. The vessel has given us everything we need. Now it's up to us to rise to the occasion, to unite, to protect, and to make sure the void swarm never reaches Earth or any world we care about. The ship pulsed in response, almost as if acknowledging their readiness. Symbols shifted to brighter patterns, lines of light extending outward, reflecting a future full of potential, but only if humanity followed through. Outside the alien planet, the winds whispered over jagged rocks carrying the silent hum of the ancient vessel. Inside, the Odyssey crew had seen the cosmic message, a warning, a plan, and a test. Humanity had been chosen not for power, but for its heart, creativity, and adaptability. Lena looked at her team. We are ready. This vessel believed in humans when no one else could, and we must honor that trust. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Ryan's eyes hardened with determination. Then we move forward, carefully, wisely, and with courage. The galaxy is counting on us, and humanity will answer. As the crew prepared to leave the chamber, The vessel's corridors shimmered like liquid light. They felt the weight of history and the burden of the future. The void swarm was out there, vast and relentless. But humanity had a chance the ancient civilization had never had. And through it all, the vessel waited, alive and aware, ready to respond to the human voice that would guide its power. The journey was far from over. Greater trials awaited. But for the first time, the crew understood the full meaning of their discovery. Humanity was not alone, not insignificant, not powerless. They had a voice, a mind, and a heart capable of shaping the future of the galaxy. And that voice had been heard. The deeper the crew ventured into the vessel, the more the ship seemed to test them. It was subtle at first. Corridors shifted unexpectedly. Lights flickered in intricate patterns and holographic symbols rearranged themselves without warning. Lena Carr noticed it almost immediately. "It's not random," she said, running her fingers along a wall that shimmered beneath her touch. "The vessel is testing our responses. It's watching how we react under pressure, how we work together, how we think." Captain Rian Torres frowned. "Tests, you mean? Like challenges? It could be dangerous." "Yes," Lena replied, "but not in a harmful way. At least not intentionally. It's trying to measure qualities only humans can demonstrate: courage, ingenuity, empathy. Our voices opened the door. Now it wants to see if we are worthy of its knowledge." Omar Diaz muttered under his breath. "I thought we were here to explore, not take some cosmic test. I hope it's not the kind that kills you if you fail." Kira Matsuo shook her head, half amused and half worried. "If it wanted to kill us, it could have done it already. Instead, it's giving us information, giving us guidance, and testing us." Their first challenge appeared suddenly. As they stepped into a new chamber, the walls dissolved into a holographic simulation. The floor rippled like water, and in front of them stretched a vast canyon with unstable bridges. Across the canyon, a glowing control panel sat atop a ledge, pulsing with a light that seemed to call to them. This isn't real, right?" Omar asked, his voice tight. "It's some kind of test?" Lena studied it carefully. "It's a simulation. The ship wants to see how we handle risk, how we solve problems together. It's observing our teamwork, our thinking. Watch your steps." Ryan stepped forward. "All right, team. We cross carefully, help each other, and stay calm. This is about trust and intelligence, not strength." One by one, the crew moved across the unstable bridges, calling out instructions to each other, holding hands when needed. Each step required focus and quick thinking. The ship's corridors shifted in real time, forcing them to adapt. At times, parts of the bridge disappeared unexpectedly, testing their reaction and courage. Lena's voice rang clear through the chamber. "Careful. Step to the left, hold on." Her voice seemed to stabilize the holographic environment, slowing the rippling floor just enough to let Omar reach the ledge safely. When the last crew member stepped across, the chamber transformed. The holographic canyon dissolved, replaced by a room filled with floating objects. Tools, strange devices, and artifacts that seemed both alien and familiar. The vessel projected a sequence of symbols onto the walls. Lena recognized the pattern. It was a puzzle, a combination of logic and intuition, and it required them to work as a team. "This is clever," Ryan said, examining the symbols. "It's testing our minds now. Observation, reasoning, and probably how we communicate." Hours passed as the crew solved puzzle after puzzle. Each challenge was different. One required them to manipulate energy flows using hand gestures and voice commands. Another simulated a collapsing star system, where they had to stabilize planets by calculating the right sequence of actions. Lena realized the vessel was teaching them indirectly. Each challenge reflected lessons the ancient civilization had learned and wanted to pass on to worthy humans. But it wasn't just about intellect. Some simulations tested emotion. In one chamber, a holographic family of creatures appeared, trapped in danger. The crew could save them by making difficult choices, but failing would show the vessel a lack of compassion or understanding. Lena's voice wavered slightly as she instructed her team to help the creatures safely. "Do it carefully," she said. "We can't let fear guide us. We must act with reason and heart." When the creatures were saved, the vessel responded with a wave of light that enveloped the room. It was almost as if it acknowledged their empathy, rewarding their choices. Lena understood clearly. This was not just a ship of knowledge, it was a ship of judgment designed to recognize human potential. This This is incredible, Kira said, stepping back. It's learning from us as much as we are learning from it. It's responding to courage, compassion, creativity. It's recognizing what makes humans special. Omar scratched his head. So it only answers to humans because only we can be tested like this? Machines can't show empathy or courage or ingenuity in the same way. Yes, Lena replied softly. It's choosing humans because it knows we can grow, adapt, and act with intention. That's why our voices opened the door. It wanted to recognize us, not just any signal. Their next trial was the most dangerous yet. The vessel projected a simulation of a collapsing asteroid field, with massive rocks hurtling toward them at impossible speeds. The team had to navigate through it to reach a control node that would stabilize the field. Ryan barked orders as they moved. Keep your focus. Lena, guide us through with voice commands. Kira, monitor our trajectory. Omar, adjust the shuttle controls as needed. Lena's voice was calm but commanding. Shift to the right. Now left. Brace for impact. The holographic asteroids shifted subtly, as if responding to her words, giving them just enough time to maneuver through. When they reached the control node, a panel emerged with a single question written in alien symbols. Lena spoke aloud, instinctively translating the symbols as best she could. It asks, who will take responsibility for this action? The risk. The outcome. Who? Ryan glanced at each team member. We all do together. That's how we move forward. That's humanity. Lena repeated the words to the ship. The vessel glowed brighter than ever before, and the simulation ended. They were safe, see? Ryan said, breathing heavily. It's not just testing us physically or mentally. It's testing our unity, our trust in each other, our integrity. The vessel's response was subtle but unmistakable. The walls shimmered, pulsing rhythmically as if breathing in approval. Symbols that had seemed indecipherable before now formed patterns Lena could begin to understand. A language of intention, courage, and cooperation. Hours later, the crew rested in a chamber where light flowed like liquid along the walls. Lena sat cross-legged on the floor, her hands hovering above a projection that displayed star systems, vessels, and swirling energy currents. She felt a deep connection to the ship, as if it recognized her not just as a human, but as a person willing to act wisely and with heart. It's showing us more than technology, she whispered. It's showing us the qualities that matter, why it waited for a human voice, why it only responds to us. This vessel, it's a teacher, a guide, and maybe even a guardian of the galaxy's knowledge. Omar yawned and stretched. Well, I think it's also a really tough trainer. My brain hurts from all this thinking and decision-making, and my nerves are shot from those simulations. Kira chuckled softly. Better our nerves than the galaxy's future. This ship is preparing us for something big, something we can't even fully understand yet. Ryan's eyes were hard with focus. Then we keep going. Carefully. We learn everything it will teach us, face every challenge, and remain united. This vessel chose us for a reason. And if it's testing us, it's because it believes we can rise to the occasion. Lena looked at the glowing walls, speaking softly to the ship. We accept your trials. We will do our best. Guide us, teach us, show us the path. For the first time, the ship's corridors seemed to glow with warmth, almost like a smile. The vessel had begun to trust humanity, not just their voice, but their courage, compassion, and ingenuity. As the crew prepared to move deeper into the vessel, Lena felt a mix of anticipation and awe. The ancient ship was no longer just a discovery, it was a test of humanity itself. And the lessons they learned here would shape not only their mission, but the destiny of humans in the galaxy. Outside, the winds of the alien planet whispered across jagged rocks. Inside, the vessel pulsed with light and knowledge, alive with a purpose that had endured through eons. Humanity had passed the first trials, but Lena knew that even greater challenges awaited. And somewhere deep in the ship's memory banks, an ancient presence stirred, watching, judging, and preparing humanity for the trials to come. The Odyssey crew was ready. Their voices, courage, and hearts had been recognized. And now the true journey, the one that could define humanity's place in the stars, was about to begin. The deeper the Odyssey crew ventured into the vessel, the more alive it felt. The walls pulsed with a soft, rhythmic light, almost like the heartbeat of a living being. Lena Carr led the way, her voice calm and steady as she called out greetings or asked questions. Each word seemed to awaken new reactions. The corridor lights shimmered, symbols shifted, and holographic maps appeared in midair, floating like tiny stars in a dark sky. This place. It's incredible, whispered Kira Matsuo, her eyes reflecting the glowing symbols. It's like walking inside a memory of a civilization long gone. Omar Diaz ran his hands along a smooth wall. It's not just old technology, it's alive in a way. I don't understand how, but it reacts to humans like it knows us. Like it trusts us, Rian Torres nodded. Then we treat it with respect. Every move we make matters. If it can judge us, it will. And we don't want to make a mistake. They entered a larger chamber where the air felt warmer and the light brighter. Holographic projections filled the space. Cities, fleets of ships, and landscapes that seemed impossible to build. Towering structures of metal and crystal floated above vast plains. Ships glided through skies that were alive with energy. Lena's eyes widened as she spoke softly. These are not human worlds. This is evidence of an ancient species, older than us. Maybe older than any humans could imagine. The vessel responded immediately, sending a stream of light toward Lena. The symbols rearranged themselves, forming what she realized were instructions, or at least guidance. It's showing me how to interact, she said, moving her hands slowly through the projections. It wants us to learn, not just explore. Omar frowned. Learn or test? You said this ship only answers to humans. Maybe it's evaluating us. That might be exactly it, Lena replied. She studied a floating map of stars and planets. Some of the stars glowed brighter than others, as if marking a path. Look at this. It's giving us directions, like a trail. I think it wants to tell us a story. Or a warning. Ryan stepped closer, studying the projections. If it's a warning, it could be about something dangerous in this galaxy. Something this species faced and maybe failed against. That would explain why the vessel has been preserved for so long, waiting for someone to understand and act. The crew felt a mix of awe and unease. The realization settled in that this vessel held knowledge humanity had never imagined. It was not just a ship. It was a library, a guide, and a guardian of wisdom that had survived countless millennia. Lena experimented further, speaking commands aloud. The ship responded each time, activating new projections. Holographic displays of star systems, energy fields, and strange celestial objects unfolded before them. Some were recognizable as stars and planets in their own galaxy. Others were completely foreign, with swirling energies and glowing rings. Captain, Kira said, pointing at one of the projections. These are star systems that humans haven't discovered yet. It's giving us a map of the unknown galaxy. Ryan studied it carefully. Maps are valuable, but this seems more than just directions. Look at the patterns. It's like a history, showing the rise and fall of civilizations. It's teaching us, maybe even preparing us, Omar's brow furrowed. Teaching humans? I don't know if I like that. What if it expects us to do something dangerous? Lena shook her head slowly. It's not threatening us. I can feel it. Through our voices, through the way it responds, it wants us to understand and act wisely. It's assessing our curiosity, our caution, our courage. That's why it only responds to humans. Machines and AI are limited. They don't carry intention or emotion. This vessel wants intent, humanity's intent. As they moved through the chamber, the vessel activated a series of smaller rooms connected to it. Each room seemed designed to teach, test, or guide. One contained a holographic representation of a starship, showing every detail of its construction. Another displayed an entire ecosystem, with creatures that had evolved in ways human science could only theorize. Lena realized the vessel was trying to share knowledge of life, technology, and survival. Hours passed as they explored. Sometimes the vessel reacted unexpectedly. Corridors shifted, projections rearranged, and lights blinked in patterns that seemed like warnings. Each time Lena spoke to it, and the responses became more coherent, as if the ship understood not just her words, but her tone and intention. It's learning from us, she said quietly. Not just responding, but learning. It knows we're capable of more than machines or AI could ever do. Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we proceed carefully. We have to respect its lessons and each other. If it's teaching, we need to be ready to learn everything it has to offer. The vessel suddenly projected a new scene, an image of a planet under attack. Swirling clouds of energy consumed everything in sight, devouring structures, ships, and even life itself. The crew stared horrified. Lena's voice trembled slightly as she spoke. Is this a warning? A record of what happened to them? The vessel responded, projecting lines of light that formed paths through the galaxy. It's showing us the threat, Lena realized. Whatever happened to this civilization, it could happen again. And maybe it's telling us humans are capable of stopping it. Omar swallowed hard. You mean humanity might be responsible for preventing this? Yes, Lena said. Her voice grew firmer as she addressed the ship. If you are giving us this knowledge, then we must learn it fully. Show us what we need to do. The vessel responded with a cascade of holograms, star maps, unknown technologies, and strange energy fields. The crew could see entire fleets designed to travel faster than light, defensive shields capable of protecting worlds, and weapon systems that seemed more like tools for protection than destruction. This is beyond anything humanity has ever imagined, Rian said, awe in his voice. We have the knowledge of an entire lost civilization, preserved for us, and it trusts humans to use it wisely. Lena traced her hand over one projection. It's not just about the technology. It's about understanding, about intention. It wants to see if humans are ready to face challenges we haven't even imagined yet. Suddenly, one projection shifted. It showed Earth, small and fragile among the stars. A pulse of light moved outward, connecting lines to other worlds, other star systems. The vessel was guiding them to a purpose, but what that purpose was, they did not yet know. Ryan's eyes narrowed. It's asking something of us. A responsibility. Not just to explore, but to act. Humanity may have a role in the galaxy that we never realized. Kira nodded slowly. And it's choosing us, this crew, humans, to be the ones to carry that role. It only answers to our voices because it recognizes our ability to decide, to think, to feel. Machines could never do what it's asking of us. As the crew absorbed the magnitude of the discovery, Lena spoke softly, almost to herself. We're standing on the edge of history. Not just human history, but galactic history. And this ship, it's the key. Ryan placed a firm hand on the railing of the chamber, looking at his team. Then we need to understand everything. Learn what it's trying to teach. And prepare ourselves. This vessel didn't awaken for nothing. The ship seemed to respond in kind, glowing brighter as if acknowledging their commitment. Symbols moved rhythmically along the walls, reflecting the trust it now placed in them. Lena felt a sense of connection she could not explain, almost as if the vessel recognized humanity's potential and was willing to share its knowledge with those who were ready to listen. Hours passed as the crew cataloged every projection, every symbol, every piece of knowledge they could absorb. They moved as one, careful and respectful, yet filled with wonder. The vessel, ancient and silent for eons, had found its first human voice, and through it had begun to reveal its secrets. Rian finally called for a pause. We need to rest and process what we've learned so far. This is only the beginning. The ship is guiding us, but the journey will be long and probably dangerous. Lena nodded, her mind racing. I understand. But I also feel it's teaching us because it believes in humans, in us, and we can't let it down. Omar exhaled, rubbing his tired eyes. Well, if it's going to trust us, we better be ready for whatever comes next. This is more than a discovery. It's a responsibility. As night fell over the alien planet, the Odyssey shuttle rested near the vessel. Inside, the corridors glowed faintly, alive with the pulse of history, knowledge, and purpose. The ship had been waiting for eons for a human voice, and now it had found one. And that voice had awakened possibilities beyond imagination. Outside, the winds howled across jagged rocks, carrying dust and the faint hum of the ancient vessel. Inside, the crew of the Odyssey began to understand that they were no longer just explorers. They were students of a civilization that had once touched the stars, and perhaps the first hope for humanity to join a destiny far larger than themselves. The Odyssey glided silently through the blackness of deep space. Stars stretched in every direction like scattered diamonds on a velvet cloth. Captain Rian Torres sat in the bridge chair, eyes scanning the instruments. Around him, the crew moved quietly but efficiently, aware that their mission was unlike any other. They were not simply exploring new planets. They were searching for relics of civilizations older than humanity itself. "Sensor sweep complete," said Lieutenant Kira Matsuo, her fingers dancing over the controls. "Nothing familiar, but there's something unusual about that planet, sir." Ryan leaned forward. The planet appeared ordinary at first glance, a rocky, barren world orbiting a yellow star. But the sensors had picked up something buried beneath its surface, a massive metallic structure, far larger than any natural formation. It had the signature of intelligent design, but unlike anything humans had catalogued. Coordinates locked. "Shall we descend?" Ryan asked. "Already preparing the landing shuttle," replied Chief Engineer Omar Diaz. He rubbed his jaw nervously. "Whatever this is, it's been here a long time. The readings are stable, but old." Dr. Lena Carr, the ship's linguist and communications specialist, hovered over the console beside him. She peered at the data, her green eyes reflecting the pale glow of the screen. "It's emitting faint energy pulses," she said. "Not random. They're patterned, like signals, but nothing our machines can interpret." Ryan nodded. "Let's take a closer look. Prepare a landing team." The shuttle descended through the thin atmosphere, buffeted by winds that swept over jagged mountains. From the air, the team could see the vessel partially buried beneath layers of rock. Its surface was smooth but scarred, with sweeping curves that seemed almost organic. The metallic hull shimmered faintly in the sunlight, reflecting colors that human eyes had no names for. "This is incredible," whispered Lena, her voice barely audible. "It doesn't look built by any species we know." As they approached, the shuttle's scanners tried to interface with the vessel. Holographic commands flickered in the cabin, showing no response. Ryan frowned. "Try again. Use every protocol we have. Let's see if it reacts to AI signals." The ship remained silent. No lights, no movements, no acknowledgement of their presence. Omar's hands flew over the console. "It's like it's waiting for something. Nothing we send is reaching it." Lena stepped closer to the shuttle's opening, instinctively feeling the need to speak aloud. "Hello?" she said softly, almost as if testing the air. The word sounded small in the vastness of the alien world, yet it carried a human warmth that machines could not replicate. Then, as if awakened by her voice, the vessel responded. A section of the hull glided aside, revealing an entrance that seemed impossibly large. Smooth corridors disappeared into darkness, lined with faintly glowing symbols that pulsed in rhythm with Lena's heartbeat. The crew froze. Did that just happen?" Omar asked, his voice trembling with excitement. "It answered." "A human voice," Lena whispered. "Not our machines. Not our signals, only a human voice." Ryan nodded slowly. "All right, team. You heard it. We proceed, but cautiously. This is uncharted territory." The landing party stepped out of the shuttle, their boots crunching over ancient rock. The air was thin and cold, but breathable. Lena led the way, her voice steady despite the shiver of anticipation running down her spine. "Stay close. Watch your surroundings." The corridors of the vessel were wider than any human hallway, and the walls seemed to breathe with soft light. Symbols flickered and changed as they passed, almost as if observing the newcomers. The crew could feel a strange energy in the air, a sense that the ship was alive, not just in function but in consciousness. "Fascinating," Lena murmured. She reached out to touch one of the walls. The symbols rippled under her fingers, forming patterns that resembled no language known to humans. "It's trying to communicate, but in a way we don't yet understand." Omar shook his head. "It's a museum of some lost civilization, isn't it? Or a vault. Either way, we need to be careful. We don't know what security measures it might have." Ryan held up a hand. "We move as a unit. No one goes alone. Stay alert." They moved deeper, the vessel's corridors curving in ways that defied normal architecture. There were no corners, no seams, only flowing lines, as if the ship had grown rather than been built. Every few steps the walls pulsed with light, reacting to their voices, their movements, their very presence. Lena stopped at a chamber with a large circular doorway. The light inside was warmer, almost inviting. She spoke softly, instinctively calling out, "May we enter?" The doors swung open silently, revealing a vast chamber filled with floating holographic projections. Stars, planets, and structures hovered in midair. The projections depicted a civilization that had long vanished, cities with towers that touched the clouds, fleets of ships that glided through space, and creatures that seemed both organic and mechanical. The crew gasped. "This is history," Kira breathed. "A civilization that predates humanity by thousands, maybe millions of years." Lena's eyes were wide with wonder. "And it preserved all of it. For us, why humans, though? Why our voices?" The ship responded again, not in words but in movement. The projections shifted, arranging themselves as if showing Lena something specific, a sequence of star maps, a pattern that led across the galaxy. It was a trail, perhaps, or a warning. Rian studied the maps. This could be a guide to other worlds, or other vessels like this one. It might be showing us where the civilization spread, or what remains of it. Omar frowned. Or it's a trap. Something that's been waiting for humans to arrive. I don't like the idea of being tested without knowing the rules. Lena shook her head. No, it's not a trap. I can feel it. The ship responds to intention, curiosity, courage, qualities that a human voice carries. It wants us to understand, to learn. As they explored, the vessel began to reveal more. Chambers filled with tools and devices, strange materials, and objects that defied human physics. The crew touched nothing, afraid to trigger a defense system, but the ship allowed them to observe everything. Every object seemed to hum softly, resonating with Lena's voice. Hours passed. They cataloged what they could, trying to understand the purpose of the vessel. The air was electric with anticipation, every member of the team feeling that they were on the edge of a discovery that could change humanity's understanding of the universe. Finally, Lena paused at a console that seemed more advanced than anything they had seen. She spoke a question aloud, her voice steady. "What are you? Who made you?" The console glowed, lights pulsing in response. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming patterns that hinted at communication. It was clear that the vessel recognized her as more than an intruder. It recognized her as someone worthy of dialogue. Rian stepped closer. "We need to be careful, Lena. Whatever it's showing us, we have to make sure we understand it fully. One wrong move." Lena nodded, but her attention was fixed on the glowing symbols. I think it's waiting for us to speak, to guide it. And maybe it's waiting for us to prove ourselves." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The vessel was massive, ancient, and powerful. They had just scratched the surface of what it contained. And yet there was no doubt. This was humanity's discovery. A moment that would be remembered for centuries. Outside, the winds of the alien planet howled across the barren surface, carrying dust and rock over the hidden relic. Inside, the vessel's corridors glowed softly, alive with anticipation. It had been silent for eons, waiting for a voice that only a human could provide. And now that voice had been heard. Rian looked at his team, determination hard in his gaze. "We move forward carefully. This is just the beginning." Lena smiled faintly, a mixture of awe and excitement. She whispered to herself, almost in reverence, "We found you, and we are ready to listen." The Odyssey crew had discovered something extraordinary, something that defied comprehension. The vessel responded only to a human voice, as if it had been waiting through the ages for this very moment. And as they stepped deeper into its mysteries, none of them could guess the journey that awaited. Outside, the planet remained silent, a lonely witness to the awakening of an ancient vessel and to the first human voice that would unlock its secrets. The sky above Zephora had darkened into a deep indigo, streaked with silver from the rising twin moons. Princess Lysera stood at the balcony of her palace, her violet eyes scanning the horizon. The lessons of the human echoed in her mind, lessons of curiosity, patience, vigilance, and wisdom. Yet a tension had settled over the city, quiet but undeniable. Something approached, a force unseen yet sensed, testing the readiness of Zephora and its people. Kalen approached her quietly. "Princess," he said softly, "the sensors have detected unusual activity near the outer orbit, ships or perhaps something else. It is unlike anything we've seen before. They are moving cautiously but steadily towards Zephora." Lysera's heart tightened, but her face remained calm. "Then we act. But carefully. Observe first, then choose wisely. The human has taught me that action without understanding can be as dangerous as inaction." Kalen nodded, seeing the determination in her eyes. "Very well, Princess. What shall we do?" Lysera turned and spoke with quiet authority. "We gather the advisors. We prepare the defenses, but we also study the patterns. We must understand the approach before deciding how to respond. The safety of Zephora depends not on fear, but on wisdom." In the council chamber, ministers and generals gathered, their faces a mix of concern and curiosity. Lysera stood at the center, her presence commanding attention. She shared what she had learned from the human, carefully describing the unseen threat, the patterns in their approach, and the importance of understanding before acting. Many were skeptical. "Your Highness," one minister said, "we have never faced such a threat. How can you ask us to wait and observe? We should act immediately." Lysera's gaze was steady. "Immediate action without understanding is reckless. I have learned that wisdom is more valuable than speed. We will prepare, but we will also watch, learn, and plan. This is how Zephora will survive." The council murmured among themselves, some reluctantly agreeing, others still hesitant. Kaelin whispered, "Your Highness, do you truly believe we can control the outcome by observing?" Lysera nodded. "We cannot control everything, Kaelin, but we can influence the future by learning, preparing, and acting wisely. That is our responsibility." Meanwhile, the human waited in the lower city, observing Zephora through discrete monitoring systems. When Lysera visited him, she found him reviewing the patterns of the approaching forces. "Princess," he said, "they are cautious, intelligent, and patient. They are testing Zephora, seeking weaknesses. Do not be alarmed by their calm. Calm can hide great danger." Lysera nodded. "Then we prepare and we wait. I have told the council to observe, study, and plan. Patience is our strength." The human studied her with quiet approval. "You have learned much, Princess. But the true test comes when action is required. Knowledge is not enough. Courage, judgment, and the ability to inspire others will be essential. Zephora's survival depends on it." Lysera's resolve hardened. "Then we will be ready, and when the time comes, we will act decisively, but wisely." Days passed as Zephora's citizens went about their routines, unaware of the approaching danger. Lysera and the human, along with Kaelin, continued to study the movements beyond the planet. Patterns emerged. The approaching ships or machines were testing Zephora's defenses, probing and retreating, learning as they moved. "Princess," the human said, "they are not mindless. They adjust to our observations. This is a challenge of intellect as well as preparedness. Zephora must respond thoughtfully, not only with technology but with strategy, creativity, and insight. Humans excel at this because we think in possibilities rather than rules." Lysera smiled faintly. "Then we think in possibilities. We will adapt, innovate, and protect our people. That is what the human has shown me." Kaelin added cautiously, "It will not be easy, Princess. The citizens may panic if they sense the threat. We must guide them carefully." Lysera nodded. "We guide, we inform selectively, and we act decisively when the time comes. Patience, observation, wisdom, and courage. These are our tools." Finally, the moment arrived. A fleet of advanced vessels appeared in Zephora's orbit, their design sleek, almost organic, moving with intelligence. Sensors detected energy fluctuations, communication signals, and unknown patterns that made even the most advanced Zephoran technology pause. The council gathered, fear and uncertainty written on their faces, but Lysera stood calm, her mind focused on what she had learned from the human. She raised her hand and silence fell. "We know them," she said, her voice steady. "They are intelligent, patient, and cautious. They are testing us. We will not panic. We will observe, understand, and act wisely. Our strength lies not only in our technology, but in our judgment and unity. Zephora can face this because we are prepared and we will act as one." The council looked at her, some skeptical, others inspired. Kaelin whispered, "Your Highness, they are closer than we expected. Will patience be enough?" Lysera's violet eyes met his. "Patience is not an action. It is preparation. And when the time comes, we will act decisively." In the lower city, the human observed alongside her. "They are testing Zephora's resolve," he said. "Observe how the people react. Observe how leaders respond. Intelligence is not only in machines or strategy. It is in understanding, adapting, and inspiring others. This is your true test, Princess." Lysera nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. She realized that leadership was more than planning or caution. It was seeing the unseen, guiding the uncertain, and making decisions that could ripple across time. As the alien fleet continued to orbit, small anomalies appeared in Zephora's sensor grids. Ships seemed to disappear and reappear, testing the planet's energy shields and scanning communication arrays. Panic threatened to spread among the council, but Lysera maintained calm. She directed operations with precision, assigning teams to observe patterns, adjust defenses, and prepare contingencies. "Notice their patterns," she instructed. "Adapt your strategy, learn what they are probing, and respond thoughtfully. We do not attack blindly. We act with wisdom. Kaelin marveled at her composure. Princess, you are not acting like a ruler of a single planet. You are thinking like a leader of an entire galaxy. Lysera's lips curved in a small smile. Perhaps that is what humans have taught me. The courage to observe, the patience to understand, and the wisdom to act decisively when it matters. The human approached her once more. Princess, they have now tested the outer defenses. The moment of action approaches. You must inspire your people to act together, to trust in their own skill and judgment. Knowledge and courage are meaningless without cooperation. Lysera nodded. Then we act as one. Zyphora is stronger when we are united, and we will show them that strength, intelligence, and courage belong not only to machines, but to the people who wield them wisely. The fleet made its first decisive move. One vessel descended toward the planet, testing shields with energy bursts. Zyphora's systems responded efficiently, absorbing the impacts and analyzing the vessel's technology. The council watched in awe as Princess Lysera calmly directed defenses, adjusted strategies, and guided teams to anticipate the next move. The shields are holding, she said, but do not grow complacent. Watch patterns, adjust tactics, and be ready. Courage without understanding is dangerous. Strategy without adaptation is useless. We must combine both, the human observed silently, impressed. You have learned well, Princess. Not just observation, but adaptation, leadership, and inspiration. This is the true measure of strength. As the battle continued, Zyphora's citizens, guided by Princess Lysera's calm leadership, began to coordinate efforts across the planet. Energy distribution, communications, and repair teams worked efficiently, inspired by her clarity and decisiveness. The alien vessels tested, probed, and retreated, unable to find weakness in the planet or its people. Lysera watched, her heart steady, her mind focused. She realized that the humans' lessons had prepared her for this moment, not only to survive, but to lead, inspire, and demonstrate the strength of human-like courage combined with Zephyran wisdom. Finally, after hours of careful maneuvering, the alien fleet retreated, recognizing that Zyphora was prepared, united, and resilient. The sensors showed the energy shields intact, communication arrays unharmed, and the people calm yet alert. Kaelin turned to Lysera, eyes wide with awe. Princess, we did it. You led us through the storm. Lysera smiled, not with triumph, but with quiet understanding. We did it together. The human showed me that courage, knowledge, and wisdom are tools, but the people make the difference. Our unity, our preparation, and our choices protected Zyphora today. The human appeared at her side, a faint smile on his face. You have learned more than I could have expected. Curiosity, patience, observation, and courage, they guided you. Zyphora is safe and its people stronger because of your leadership. Lysera's eyes glimmered with determination. The universe is vast and Zyphora is small. But we are ready. With knowledge, courage, and unity, we can face whatever comes next. The twin moons rose high above, reflecting silver light over the towers. Princess Lysera looked at them and whispered, "Thank you for the lessons, the stories, and the guidance. We will not forget them," the human nodded, fading back into the shadows of the lower city, leaving her with the knowledge that she had grown, not just as a princess, but as a leader, a thinker, and a protector of her people.